I mean, hating one another and killing one another. You know why? Because they was being killed by the slave master. They wasn't, your ancestors had a different mindset, and if you really think about it, our ancestors were stronger than us and they were better than us. You know why? Because they knew they had an enemy and they knew who their enemy was. Today, black people don't know who your enemy is.
How the hell you think we got this truth? The ISUPK didn't come out of thin air. This truth comes from slaves, remembering that they were the children of Israel. We are the children of God. And if you don't understand it yet, you will understand it. We will bring it to you. We will get it through your brain that you are God's chosen people. And there is no dream. There is no thing. There is no success without learning who you are as a people.
According to God, the white man is the devil.
See, I've been in here for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? And I see niggas, they like to talk a lot. They like to claim leadership. They like to claim this and that. You know what I'm saying? They like to be above what they really is and have authority. But they don't really need that authority. They don't really know what to do with that leadership. You understand? You hold hands with this white man. Need to stop and ask you to give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up to serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. See, everybody ain't with all that peace talk. Everybody ain't with all that. Let bygone be. Boy, ask you to stop and ask you to profit.
Black man, black woman, Latino man, Latino woman, Native man, Native woman. You have no idea how much you destroy your life when you walk away from the truth of the Lord. You lost your whole identity, don't even know who you are today. And you got the nerve to look at us like we strange. Like I always teach the brothers, if a white man came along and said, oh, you don't know? You black people are the doo-doo people. You should consider it because you don't know no damn way. We know, we won't consider it. Why? Because we know who we are, and we declare our identity, and we are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
If I was a black person in America, which I am, what I would do is be preparing for the day that I'm not going to have any lights in the house, for the day that I'm going to have no electricity in the house, for the day that I'm going to have no water in the house and no food in the house, for the day where my life will be in danger because somebody will want to come in my house and take my life for the little things that I may have.
The first thing, the first thing. Hey, shalom, Israel. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. Priest and Officer Tawaga Bar. This is Wednesday night law and history class. You read it right. We're going to go into World War III. That's been on the horizon. It's been a lot of things going on in the world. Of course, we'll get to some archaeology, some history, and some current events. Now, the first current event that I want to go over is, I just heard about this, but this is that bald-headed pastor that is married to what's her name? Shaquille O'Neal's ex-wife. I don't mean to say it like that, but this is the same pastor that asked for $2,100 in 21 days from his followers. Okay. Well, there's a video. Did you send me the video? If you could send it to me so I could actually pull it up. Yeah. Just send it to me. Remove that from the studio. Yeah, I heard this and I was like, what? You know what? I probably can just look it up because it might be easy. It'll be faster. Let me just look it up. Keon Henderson, right? Keon Henderson. I got him. Henderson. Oh yeah, it's going viral. That's why it's easy to find. Let me see. What you played was just a snippet, right? It's that video there. Which one? The long one. The long one? Keon Henderson scamming or evil prosperity preaching? Okay. And where am I skipping to? 4820. Okay, let me share the screen. So I'm skipping to 4820. Let's get it. So is that the end? I don't. This is not the same video. Well, I see it right here.
Some sort of a rally.
How many of y'all want to be wealthy? I'm trying to tell you how to get it. You have to be willing to release Benjamin.
Let me turn it up.
Digging your pie right now because it's all about.
No, I can't do this one. For the copyright, he got it playing fast. Let me get another one. This might be.
There's no blessing connected to blessing the poor other than getting back what you gave to them, but no multiplication.
I actually think that Pastor Keon was trying to explain a truth. Oh, it didn't come out right. He said there's no blessing attached to blessing the poor.
Let me rewind it.
There's no blessing connected to blessing the poor other than getting
what's
back.
The one that you had? All right, I'll get it. Let me see. So like, y'all, I should have had this video prepared. Everybody be want to monetize so bad that they chop up videos and speed them up instead of just playing the actual. You just sent it to me? All right. Where you sent it to me at? Okay. I'll get it. Well, I can't hear it. Yeah. Okay. Let me pause that. Let me share this screen. This is as big as I can make. Let me see. I'll probably make it bigger. Okay. Let's see.
Sit down. No. I'm going to put you on blast. Sit down. This is how the devil keep tricking us up. And here's the other problem with the church is that anytime a person is in need, y'all go to running and dropping money. But let me tell you something. The poor will be with you always. And there is no blessing connected to blessing the poor other than getting back what you gave to them, but no multiplication.
What the hell?
Multiplication is segregated for tithes and offering. When you give to the poor, the only thing you do is help them, but you don't help yourself. So when you give $1 to somebody on the street talking about I did my job, God like, thank you, but it ain't gonna help you. Read your Bible.
Somebody in there said good teaching.
Charity does not bring wealth. Only the tithe does that.
Oh, it's a lot to unpack in this thing, man. He said that giving to the poor doesn't help you. It only helps them. Give me what you got. What precept do you got? Let me hear it.
The book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 40. And the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me.
Christ said, what you do to the least of his people, you have done unto me. Let me play this one more time. I don't know. It's 2024 and black people are still being shucked and jived, getting your pocket shook down by these pulpit pimps. Seems like he got a new church. He got a new church because he was trying to raise $2,100 in 21 days to get a new church because he didn't have time to wait on the insurance money. Let me start it over. Give me Proverbs 19 and 17.
Down. No, I'm gonna put you on blast. Sit down. This is how the devil keeps tricking us up. And here's the other problem with the church is that anytime a person is in need, y'all go to running and dropping money. But let me tell you something, the poor will be with you always. And there is no blessing connected to blessing the poor.
He said, anytime a person is in need, y'all go running to them to help them. And that's supposed to be a bad thing. But just a few months ago, he was in need, asking for money. Asking for what? Asking for money. And for people to run to him and give them $2,100 of their goddamn hard-earned money. These Christian pastors is a goddamn joke. You understand? Let me see. He's saying y'all go and run and give money to the poor. But wasn't you just asking for money? I think you were in need. You were the needy, Keon Henderson. Give me what I asked for. Proverbs 19 and 17.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
He that hath pity upon the poor.
He that what?
Hath pity upon the poor.
What did Keon say? As soon as somebody is in need, you go running to them. He that what?
He that hath pity upon the poor.
He that hath pity upon the poor. Go ahead.
Lendeth unto the Lord.
Lendeth unto who?
The Lord.
Keon said you doing it for nothing. You're not helping nobody. You helping the poor person. That's it. Let me play that. Let me show you black Christians how these men that you follow in these churches that dress nice and wear nice cardigans and vests and pointy shoes. There's nothing wrong with wearing pointy shoes. I got a pair of Stacey Adams, but wear alligator, the finer things. They have all the finer things. You're going to find out that these people do not know the God of the Bible. You're going to find out that these people are nothing more than wolves that's taking your money, charlatans. You understand? Grifters. These people are nothing but salesmen. They're pimps. They're pimps in the pulpit.
And here's the other problem with the church is that anytime a person is in need, y'all go to running and dropping money. But let me tell you something, the poor will be with you always. And there is no blessing connected.
He used, now this is the thing that you got to peep what he just said. He said the poor will be with you always. Now that's an actual precept, but he just threw that in there. So you think he's a man of God because he said something that's actually in the scripture, but he can't break it down, and it doesn't even apply to what the point that he's trying to make. Let me keep going. So like I was gonna say, keep going.
Connected to blessing the poor, other than getting back what you gave to them, but no multiplication.
He said, so what you give to the poor, you're just going to get it back, but nothing is going to multiply. You know what that is? That's prosperity gospel. Prosperity gospel is not in the Bible. Right. The Bible does not talk about being prosperous and being rich. When the Bible talks about being prosperous, what it is talking about is having your mind right, having your family in order, having a roof over your head, keeping the law, statute, and commandments, being successful in your endeavors. These things don't actually mean wealth. Well, they really are wealth. But in this world, people think wealth is having a large bank account. And they think that a blessing that comes from the Lord is in the form of money. Well, let's just take money out of the equation. Take money out of the equation. There's an impending war that could happen. I mean, in the blink of an eye, a missile could hit America and there will be no economy. Let's just take that out of the equation. Then what would be prosperity? If you don't have money, if you can't go to the doctor, if you can't get on your phone and be on the internet, if you can't, have a good meal, if you can't go to the store and find food anymore, if you can't get toilet paper, then what would be wealth? What would be success? What would be prosperity? What would be in that realm, in that world? What would be prosperity? Anybody? Let me check the chat. Go ahead, Abad. Yeah, I'll take that, a good spirit. But you would have to what? You would have to start to do other things to survive, because money is just gets you what you need. But when there's no economy and no money, then what? You're going to be working with your hands. You're going to be growing things. You're going to be building things. You're going to be trading things. You can't miss the point with what the Lord is talking about when it comes to prosperity. But in the Christian church, they do miss the point. They think it's about being rich. They think it's about having all of the good things in life. Well, the Bible don't say that. The Bible says that the meek shall inherit the earth, not the rich and the proud. Let me keep going.
Multiplication is segregated for tithes and offering. When you give to the poor, the only thing you do is help them, but you don't help yourself.
So now let's go back to the precept. He said, when you give to the poor, the only thing you do is help them. You don't help yourself.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 17. He that hath pity unto the poor, lendeth unto the Lord.
He that have pity unto the poor, lendeth unto the Lord. What you do to the poor, and what we just read about Christ, what you do to the least of God's chosen people, you do unto Christ. You do unto the Lord. What in the hell is this Christian pastor talking about? I just proved to you that he doesn't know the Bible. He doesn't know the Bible. And Christianity is a religion that preys on stupid, ignorant people that don't know the Bible. That's what Christianity is. It is a religion where anybody could be a man of God, a woman of God, and rip your damn pockets off. I mean, literally rip your pockets off. $2,100 in this economy, in these hard times, and even without this economy, who in the hell has $2,100 to give to Keon Henderson? He was just in a position begging. That's what he was doing, begging for people to send $2,100. And now he's telling these same people that if you give to the poor, you're only helping them. You're too quick to go run and give to the poor. You should be paying tithes and offerings, and that's where your real blessing to come from. That is so evil. That is so evil. That is a high-minded, big-headed, selfish Christian Negro for you. You understand? Well, what else we got? Let me. You already read the other precept. Now, he said something else in there, but let me show you the whole. Give me Ecclesiastes, not an apocrypha, but Ecclesiastes 12 and 12, I believe. Your mission in life is not solely to be rich and to do things for God, for God, in order to receive some type of blessing, because that's what prosperity teaches, is that you do something for God, you put a little bit in, and you get a big amount out, like a slot machine. That's what Christianity teaches. It teaches that you sow your seed and the Lord will give you a blessing that you cannot even receive, brother. You will get a blessing that you can't even hold on to, brother. You don't even know the things that the Lord want to give to you. He want to give you a big house. He want to give you your dream car. He want to give you the best shoes. He wants you to have that big old walk-in closet where you just have a wardrobe of clothes and all the goodness and all the blessings. And you can travel, you go to Greece. The Lord wants you to have all of that. That's prosperity gospel. Do you got it? Let me hear it. For the chat, can you hear the reader? Go ahead. Give me a 1 if you can hear the reader.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
And further, by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Mm-hmm.
Fear God and keep his commandments.
The conclusion of the whole matter is to fear God and keep his commandments. The conclusion of the whole matter is for you to do what the Lord said to do, to live the life that the Lord wants us to live. That's the whole conclusion of that's the whole purpose of life for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Within that purpose, everything that you think you need and the things that you think you want will come to fruition. Do you want to be a scientist? Yeah, you can be a scientist. You want to be an engineer? Of course you can be. You can do whatever you want to do, whatever you put your mind to do that thing. But never forget the whole purpose of you being here. The whole purpose of your life, first and foremost, is to keep the law, statute, and commandments. Everything else comes after that. Everything else comes after that. Your duty is not to sow seed, pay, give offerings and tithes and hope that, the Lord is going to bless you with that thing you've been wanting. You can get that thing you've been wanting without thinking like that, but just with hard work and dedication. You can get whatever you want. But you are off if you thinking that you shouldn't help the less fortunate. That is a evil spirit to have. And the Bible says that the rich hate the poor. That's what the Bible says. And the Lord said to always give unto the poor, because when you give unto the poor, you give unto the Lord. Okay. Let me drop this. We'll move on. Now, I brought out recently. Stop sharing. Recently, I had brought out. We were talking about Moses. We went from Joseph to Moses. If you could, let's get what do I want? We can start at Exodus. Start at Exodus 1:1.
The book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man in his household came with Jacob. Verse 2, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. All the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls.
Mm-hmm.
For Joseph was in Egypt already, and Joseph died, and all his brethren in all that generation.
Mm-hmm.
And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty.
Mm-hmm.
And the land was filled with them.
So the children of Israel, after Joseph passed away, the children of Israel grew and grew and grew. The same way Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have grown and grown and grown here in America. America is built off of the same ideologies of ancient Egypt. And the same thing that happened to our ancestors in ancient Egypt has happened here in America. And you'll see. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. He said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, let us deal wisely with them.
So the Egyptians saw that these people, if left alone, they would grow more and mightier than them. And so this king, this Pharaoh said, let's deal crafty with them. Let's deal wisely with them. Let's do some things to implement some things so we can cut down their numbers, so that we could, knock them off of their axis, off their foundation. Because if they keep going in the way that they're going to be stronger and better than us. And they might keep reading. It'll say it.
And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
Right. So this Pharaoh, this king, he said it might come to a point where they connect with our enemies and they fight against us and they turn against us. That has been a fear of white America since slavery. That has been a fear of Europeans since the Spanish conquest of Mexico. That has been a fear of them since the native Indians, that one day these people would turn around and return the favor. One day that these people would, because they're so mighty and they're growing and they multiply and they have so many children, they would get so strong and they can connect to one of our enemies. They can ally with one of them and they can destroy us. Or maybe they might just turn on us themselves, because look, they're building towns. They're building cities. These people are waxing mighty and strong. We got to do something about this. We got to integrate them. Let's integrate them. They can't stay separate. Keep reading.
Verse 11. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burden.
So we know the breakdown of that. We know the breakdown. So I want to talk a little bit about Moses in the history. Now, when it comes to the history, let me just pull this up. Now, of course, we know that many people say that the Bible, that the Israelites, they didn't exist. They wasn't in Egypt. Well, ancient Egypt was famous for stricken the records of people that embarrassed them. And it's just like any place. You would not want to keep the records of a defeat of a people who you thought you were better than, but they overthrew you and defeated you. Or in this case, their God did. So there is a record. And there's many times in ancient Egypt where you can see in the records that they have stricken names off of the tablets, literally just try to wipe out the memory of certain pharaohs and certain people. Well, that would be no different with the Israelites. Just give me a second here. So if we could, let's skip down to the story. I want to get what Moses' mother put him in the river. It should be right there somewhere. Yeah. Okay.
The book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 1. And there went a man of the house of Levi and took a wife, a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could not longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes and bound it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags of the river's bank. And his sisters stood afar off to wit what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the river's side.
So this is the story of Moses. This is the story of Moses being born, and during this time, the pharaohs were killing the firstborn. What I left out about that is also that was a form of birth control, or something like Planned Parenthood, abortion, where if you kill off the male seed, you could cut down the numbers of the people because the nationality comes from the man, not the woman. Notice it didn't say we want to kill the firstborn girl child. We want to kill the firstborn male child. Keep going.
And her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child. And behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him. And and said, this is one of the Hebrew children.
So she recognized right away that this was one of the Hebrew babies. She had compassion on this baby. You know, and that's not nothing new. You have a lot of different nations that anybody will have compassion. You might not even be human if you don't have compassion on a child. Even if it's you know, an Ethiopian baby or a Chinese baby or even a white baby, you know. But this is no different than that. She was of another nation. She was Egyptian. She had compassion on it. This is the Pharaoh's daughter. Go ahead.
Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? And Pharaoh's daughter said, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother.
What verse we on?
That was the end of verse 8. Start 9.
So the crazy part of how this works is that she asked, should I call a Hebrew woman to nurse a child? And she said, yeah, she called his mother. So it came together perfectly, because she had let her child go into the river thinking she would never see him again. Now she's coming back to nurse the child in the house of Pharaoh. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages.
So not only is she got her baby back, she's getting paid to nurse her own baby. Go ahead.
Okay. And the woman took the child and nursed it.
Mm-hmm.
And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter. He became her son.
Mm-hmm.
And she called his name Moses, and said, because I drew him out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 11. And it came to pass in those days, when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens.
Mm-hmm.
And he spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew,
Mm-hmm.
one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian.
Mm-hmm.
And hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 14, and he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me?
So Moses had seen one of his brethren being smited by an Egyptian, and he put the Egyptian to death and hid him in the sand. But people knew about it. So the next day he seen 2 Hebrews fighting, and he tried to stop it. And they said, what you gonna kill us like you did the Egyptian? So Moses knew right there. Everybody knew about it. Go ahead.
Intendest thou to kill me as thou killedst the Egyptian?
Mm-hmm.
And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 15, now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses.
Mm-hmm.
But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh.
Now the Pharaoh was upset. He sought to put Moses to death. Now we're talking about Moses was a grown man when this happened. So now I'm gonna go into some history. Now there's a very very important figure in archaeology that they can't explain that could possibly be Moses in ancient Egypt, and also the daughter of Pharaoh. So let me pull this up. Pull this slide up. One second. So first we're going to do a breakdown of the chronology. So we're going to go in reverse, and we're going to be using the Bible to get to a certain point in Egyptian history. So let me pull this up. Why? Oh, did I put it as a background? Okay, that's the problem. No sweat. I can add that real quick. Let's add this real quick. So this is a chronology, okay? Now, what we're doing is we're going to go backwards and we're going to use the Bible. So let's get 1 Kings 6:1.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 6, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass in the 480th year, for the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month Ziph, which is the 2nd month that he began to build the house of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2, in the house which King Solomon built for the Lord.
So let me just stop you right there. So according to most historians, Solomon's kingdom temple was built in 967 BC. Now, it's telling you that 480 years, it was 480 years from the Exodus. So what we do, we're going backward. We're using that 480 years to take us back to 1446 BC, give or take. Okay. And then the 40 years in the wilderness, that 40 years we minus. And then Moses's life was 120 years. So when we deduct all of that, we end up with the birth of Moses at 1526 BC, which would fall in the 18th dynasty in Egypt. During the 18th dynasty, Amenhotep was ruling the first, and his daughter would have been Hatshepsut, who's very well known in Egyptian history. Okay. Now, there's a prominent figure that rose out of nowhere with Hatshepsut, and this is Senemut. And these are the first statues that were ever seen in Egypt, where you have Hatshepsut holding Senemut. Now, Senemut, he grew, and he was not of the pharaonic dynasty. He was not. See, in order to be a pharaoh, you had to come from a royal family. You had to come from the family of the pharaohs to be royalty. Well, he was not that. He was a commoner, a foreigner, but he was installed into great prominence, and they gave him all type of titles and all type of names, things that he never even done, in order to legitimize him as being part of the family. He would have been Amenhotep II had he not just vanished. Now, history says that he got sick and died, but records show that he just vanished. And many times when you're a pharaoh, they start to build your funeral tomb even before you're dead, because it's going to be elaborate and everything. Well, his tomb, somehow in the middle of it, was destroyed. They started to just break it up and destroy it. And many people suspect that Senemut very well could have been Moses. Now, Senemut had a mother and a father. I'll get that at a later time. Who his mother and father, and they have Egyptian names, and they said Senemut would not have been named Moses, but his name means mother's brother. So people assume that Hatshepsut was his mother, but his name meant mother, brother. But he was put on a level of royalty in order for the people to respect him. He has many titles. He is known for fighting great wars. But around the same time of Moses' age, around 40 years old, he just disappeared, and he's stricken from the record. He is stricken from Egyptians' records. He was not an Egyptian, but his mother and father were given royal burials and they were not Egyptians either. So we'll get more into that. I'll break it down a little more, and we'll dive into, you know, the peculiarities of this story, which is very interesting. Many historians are they all agree that this very well could have been Moses growing up in the palace as a child. Hatshepsut would have found him in between the age of 13, 15 years old when he flowed in the river. So this is very, very interesting. It's not 100% concrete, but it's like 85% concrete. Okay. So for time's sake, I'm going to move on. We're going to get into World War III. Are you prepared? Will you survive World War III? Right? Will you survive World War III? You got that report I sent you? Let's get see. Let's get 1 Timothy. Let's get 1 Peter 2:17. Everybody knows what's been happening in Israel. We know this has been prophesied for a long time. The ISUPK has been talking about this since 1969, about the Third World War. It's been spoken about. Tensions are rising. Even Christ told you that when you see wars and rumors of war, you know that the end is near. Just let me know when you got it. Let me hear it. Mm-hmm.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 17.
Uh-huh.
Honor all men. Love the brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Fear God. Honor the king.
Mm-hmm.
Servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and the gentle.
What verse? Verse 18? Read it from the top again, 17.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 17. Honor all men.
Uh-huh.
Love the brotherhood. Fear God.
Honor all men, love the brotherhood, and fear God. You want to be able to survive an impending war? This is what you got to do. You got to honor all men. You got to love the brotherhood. You got to love your people. And most importantly, you got to fear the Most High. You got to trust the Most High. You trust the Most High by keeping the commandments and letting everything else fall into place, not overthinking nothing. That's how you trust the Most High. You do what you're supposed to do. You keep the commandments. You mind your business, and you don't worry about or overthink anything when it comes to what's going on in this world. Everybody got that? All right, let's get give me 1 John 3:13. If y'all got any questions, y'all can put it in the chat. 3:13.
The book of 1 John chapter 3, verse 13.
Uh-huh.
Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hate you. We know that we have passed from death unto life, because we love the brethren. He that loveth not his brother abideth in death.
Right. Don't marvel at that if the world hates you. A lot of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, y'all be really shocked to the core when you experience some real racism. Y'all be shocked to the core when you see how people really but really feel about you. The Bible says, don't trip. Don't marvel at that. That ain't a big deal. That ain't nothing. You got it? You got it? Yo, one second. Read it again. You got it? Most High in Christ.
The book of 1 John chapter 3, verse 13. Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hate you. Verse 14, we know that we have passed from death unto life, because we love the brethren. He that loveth not his brother abideth in death.
You abide in death if you don't love your people. You might as well chalk it up. When those missiles come, just chalk it up. You're not going to survive If you hate your people, you don't got time to be hating nobody else when the world is at war, right? And you done passed from, like, we as blacks, as brothers in the truth, sisters in the truth, we done passed from death to life because we do love our people.
Right.
But if you do not, if you hold grudges and you hate people without a cause, you abide in death. And that is going to be the outcome in an impending war. You're going to need your people. So you're going to have to step up and put your pride down and put all of your, all of those feelings and all of that self-hatred. You're going to have to cast that out of you. You're going to have to get that up out of you, because you're not going to make it. Is there any more on that? Give me Romans 12 and 10. 12 and 10. Romans 12 and 10. You are not going to make it if you are a hater of the brethren. If you are somebody that can't let things go, and you just have to get into something with somebody, and you have to be mad at someone for something, you are not going to make it. Let me hear it.
The book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
Be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another.
Right. So you want to be kind to one another. You want to treat one another how you want to be treated. You want to prefer one another. You don't want to prefer the other nations. There's a lot of our brothers and sisters that are going to find out the hard way. It's sad to say, you're going to find out the hard way who your enemy really was. When there is no rule of law, when there is no one you can go to help you, when there is no 911, when the sky is dark, when there's no food on the shelves, you're going to find out who your friends really were, who your people really were. And it wasn't those other nations. It wasn't the people that you thought, oh yeah, diversity and we love the world and, love is love. It wasn't them. It was the people that you look down on, that you look just like. A lot of you brothers and sisters are going to find out the hard way in an impending war. I promise you that. You can drop that. Let's get that war report. Let's read that. I'll pull it up so everybody can see. Let's get it. You got it? So I want you to skip down to right here to war in cities. So this is a Red Cross war report. This one is from 2016. They do reports on wars in urban areas, wars in different places, the effects, even people explain how life has changed since the infrastructure of the cities has been destroyed by bombs and missile attacks. And these are some of the things that a lot of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians will have to think about. Okay. Go ahead.
War in cities, a microcosm of total war.
Are you in the right same area? Although urbanization. So you might have to skip down. You got to skip down right here where it says war in cities, the challenges. Okay.
It says, although urbanization is a broadly positive phenomenon due to the development of industries, services, and cultural activities that it allows, at the same time, the modern city is both particularly exposed to violence and a vehicle for violence because of its density, anonymity, and interdependent infrastructure and dependence on resources.
So it's talking about it's breaking down what it is like living in cities. And it's showing you how people who live in cities are exposed to more violence. It is a vehicle for more violence because of the density of the city and the interdependent infrastructure and the dependence on resources. Keep reading.
In the future, as cities become more connected and dependent on new technologies,
Mm-hmm.
new vulnerabilities will arise, leading to fears of future cyber attacks on public transports, the electricity grid, or the banking system.
And that's already been happening. More cyber attacks, more people tapping into government agencies, stealing information. There's cyber wars. You probably don't know this, but there are cyber wars behind the scenes with different countries. They have, cyber terrorism departments fighting, because people are fighting wars in all type of ways. But we are more connected in that way, in that infrastructure, through social media, through the internet and networks. And so that is a way to fight other nations through cyber attacks, through hacking and things like that. Go ahead.
For people living in cities at war today, armed conflict has horrifying consequences.
Mm-hmm.
We have identified the following major challenges relating to the security of city dwellers and the services they need to live and survive.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, security. Fighting, bombing mines, improvised explosive devices, IEDs, unexploded ordnance, and oppression by combatants means that people's homes are no longer safe.
Keep going. Go ahead.
Supplies of sustenance items, food and water are rationed, of poor quality or unavailable.
So you're going to have to deal with that. You're going to have to deal with the fighting. You're going to have to deal with the bombing. You're going to have to deal with mines, improvised explosives, IEDs. You're going to have to deal with substance problems. Food, water will be rationed out. A poor quality also. It's going to be at a poor quality. So what would help you with that? Brotherhood would help you with that. Go ahead, keep reading.
Electricity and fuel supplies. These are limited, rationed, or cut off.
Electricity and fuel supplies, they're limited. So you probably won't even be able to get electricity. It'll be off unless you have some generator or some a solar panel or something like that to produce your own electricity. And forget about fuel. Fuel is going to only be reserved for the military. They're not giving it to civilians anymore because they need that fuel to be able to fight their wars. Go ahead.
Healthcare. Hospitals are damaged or destroyed. Healthcare staff become increasingly scarce. The quality of care falls, and there's a risk of epidemics spreading more easily.
Now, I want you to think about how many people you see in the hospital when you go to the hospital. How many elderly people? How many young people? How many middle-aged people? There will be no hospital. There will be no place for people to get that type of health care because the staff won't be there. You won't have the same quality of health care. At most, you'll have a third world type of health care where they set up a tent and they got some pills and some water, maybe an IV to give you, and that's it. And then on top of that is risk of epidemics, of diseases, and all type of things popping off. You understand? Go ahead.
The future. People's ability to have an education,
Mm-hmm.
a job, or any kind of future is compromised.
So you can forget about it. You talking about your education and your job and your future is compromised. You talking about what the things you want to do in the future? Well, those things are compromised. You cannot do those things anymore. Why? You can't go to school because you don't know if a damn bomb is going to hit your school. You can't, get that job because the job doesn't exist. The economy doesn't exist anymore. So those things are all compromised and they are not even promised anymore because you live in a totally different world after war begins. America will be a totally different place to be in. Like Commander General Yohana said, it will go from a first world nation to a second or third world nation because of war and because of lack of resources. So what are you going to do as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? Will you survive that? The better question is, do you want to survive it? That's the question you should be asking. Do I want to survive? If a war breaks out tomorrow, do I want to survive it? Do I want my family to survive it? What am I going to do? Who am I going to lean on? we got the answer in the ISUPK. Let's get give me Zephaniah 2:1. Y'all know where I'm going. Was that the door back there? Yeah. Zephaniah 2:1. Y'all know where I'm going.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
We're going to have to do that. You think right now when things are A-OK, you are the people who are not desired right now. What more when war break out and infrastructure is down and there's no rule of law, there's no police officer, there's no 911. Everybody is fending for themselves. So who is going to become public enemy number one? Black people, brown people, Native American Indian people. You're going to be public enemy number one. You're going to be the targets of everybody's frustration and everybody's fears. This has happened before. It's happened in Hurricane Katrina, where black men were shot at by truckloads of white men. There was no police to go to. There was no infrastructure. Everything is flooded. And these black men are trying to find somewhere that's safe and secure. And truckloads of white men start indiscriminately chasing them and shooting at them without no warning at all. Now, hey, you guys need some help. None of that. It's pow, pow. Get up out of here, nigga. That's how people really want to be. They really want to purge. You don't understand that. You don't get it. You live in a damn bubble that is not reality. And in this impending war, if it cracks off, your reality is going to shatter. It is going to crumble. It's going to crack. And many Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are going to fall by the sword because you are ignorant of who you really are. You're ignorant of the law, statutes, and commandments. You are ignorant to what God really wants. You think the God of Keon Richardson or Henderson, what's his name? You think the God of Keon Henderson is the God that will save you out of World War III? The God that says to look over the poor and just sow your tithes so that you can get a return. You can get an increase of a multiplication. That's what he's saying. Multiply. You can get multiplied. You think the God that these Christians serve in this church is the same God in the Bible? The God of war? He is not. And you're going to be sorely mistaken if war pops out in America. You're going to be looking for answers in the wrong place. I just pulled up the story. I played it on the platform with the brother that's going down there with the story of Javion McGee, and looks like it's some sketchy foul play where they said the brother hung himself. He was found at the base of a tree with a rope around his neck that he bought from Walmart, but the video came out with him being slumped next to a truck with three white men standing there. And this brother is going through the city talking to residents, and he's talking to this sister, and this sister just happened to be putting some balloons on a tree in remembrance. She didn't know him. She just came from another side of the city to show her condolences. He talking to this sister, and this sister starts to give her opinion. And he's asking her, is it racist out here? And she's like, yeah, it's racist. I didn't experience a lot of racism. I recently just went to the church and they said, we don't help your kind. This is Henderson, South Carolina in 2024. So you think as Black Christians, as Hispanic Christians, as Native Indian Christians that believe in white Jesus, you think that when the war pops off, that these people are going to be helping you? They are going to revert back to their natural state, and they're going to help and protect and love their kind. And you're going to find out the hard way. Now, give me, we got that, give me, let's see. Do I want that? No, we can draw it. Give me Baruch 2 and 30 out the Apocrypha. You need Apocrypha? All right. Do you need one? Here you go. Con. This is something that we got to do. We have to do this in order for the Lord to be with us. We have to do this. The truth is is like a young child as far as when you compare the truth to these other belief systems. Christianity is a old gray elderly man. Islam is an old gray elderly man, meaning the truth just came out in 1969 to reach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The internet came out in what, the 80s? You know what I'm saying? So the truth been around for a while, but many of our people do not know or have heard this truth and do not understand what the hell they are hearing. Well, what you are hearing is the records and the prophecies and the history of God's chosen people who are Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the true biblical Israelites. Okay, go ahead.
The book of Baruch, chapter 2, verse 30.
Mm-hmm.
For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is stiff-necked, because it is a stiff-necked people.
We are a stiff-necked people, man. We are hard-headed. Our heads are hard as hell, man. We do not give a damn. We do not care. And it's funny because our people have always been like this in the Bible. Hard-headed, doing what we want to do to the last minute. You know how they say you're gonna roll till the wheels fall off? You don't want to roll until the wheels fall off. You want to start doing some repairs right now. You want to start working on those struts and working on those brakes. You want to start getting them oil changes. You want to start, building yourself up. You want to start looking at your life and saying, okay, this is my life. This is the results of how we grew up. All of my friends are dead. Everybody, all of the women I grew up with, got pregnant when they was 14. The life we've been living is not right. There's got to be something better. There's got to be something that we're missing, something that even my mom, my grandma, my grandfather, they didn't even know because they had the same type of life. There's got to be something different. You got to start looking at yourself, examining yourself, look that person in the mirror and say you want to change. Say you want to put the damn drugs down. You want to stop smoking. You want to stop, whatever it is that you do that you're not supposed to be doing, you want to stop it and you want to change and become brand new. You got to put the work in though. But we are a stiff-necked, hard-headed people. It's hard to get through us. The Lord said that don't fear when you go to talk to the children of Israel because the Lord knows how we are, our people are. They don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. Go ahead.
The book of Baruch, chapter 2, verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people.
Mm-hmm.
But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves.
Ooh, He said, I know they don't want to hear me, but in that land of their captivity, they're going to remember themselves. After a little bit of slavery, a little bit of whips on your back, a little bit of Jim Crow, a little bit of lynchings, a little bit of cities burned down that you built with your own hands, a little bit of police brutality, a little bit of sprinkle of the government putting heroin and crack cocaine in their communities. Let them go through some things.
Right.
Let them feel that burn and that heat. Let them touch the fire so they don't want to touch they never want to touch the fire again. And then they'll think and they'll remember themselves. And then they'll start to build and come together and say, you know what? Those people that's over there saying they are God's people, they ain't the real Jews.
Right.
We the real Jews. We really God's chosen people. They'll start to bethink themselves. They'll start to remember.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
They shall know that I am the Lord their God,
Mm-hmm.
for I will give them an heart and ears to hear.
And the Lord will give you a heart and ears to hear. That's what is that? To him that have an ear, let him hear. Everybody got ears, but everybody don't hear this truth. Everybody don't, it go in one ear and out the other ear. Everybody got ears. But a lot of black people, when they hear the truth, it seems strange to them. It seems wrong to them. It seems not fair to them that God only loves them. Well, you can burn in the fire then, because I'm not. I thank the Lord that I was able to hear the truth when the truth came to me. I was able to receive the truth. I was able to, open up the Bible and open up the records and see, like, okay, what these brothers are saying is the truth. It is real. It's not a lie. Like, no, our history is not just slavery. We're not African. I knew it was something different about us and those people. I could tell by the way they act towards us. All of the questions that I had, I got my answer when I came into the truth. You understand? Drop that. Let's get I was going to get 1 Kings 8:47. It says the same thing as Baruch, that we would bethink ourselves in the land of our captivity. That's another precept. They go hand in hand. But what did our people do in times of war? Our people fought in times of war. And sometimes our people fled in times of war. Our people fled in 70 AD. Our people fought and won, but the times our people fought and won, why did our people fight and win? For time's sake. Go ahead. Because the Lord was with us. The Lord was with us. If the Lord is with you, who can be against you? So the Israelites always won battle. You won a battle, it's 300 Israelites and 300,000 other people. And you still win because the Lord is with you. But when the Lord wasn't with us, the enemy would destroy us. We'll go in one way and flee out 7 different ways, running like roaches, because we don't have our God with us. And that's the same thing when we try to fight and we try to stand up. It be looking real strong. Those 60s, brothers was looking real strong. We were looking real strong in the Black Panther Party. But the Lord wasn't with us. Brothers be looking real strong. That was recently. After George Floyd, y'all remember they had that whole little militia with that one brother. He got like a big old militia, everybody, black men carrying guns. And we ain't taking this no more. We fighting back. But the Lord ain't with you, then what? It comes to nothing. You want to fight? You black people, everybody was mad, with the George Floyd thing. America's about to burn down. But the Lord wasn't with that. The Lord has to be in it in order for us to be successful. In order for us to, we have fight in us. We have a warrior spirit in us, but the Lord has to be in it. He has to be with us in order for us to be successful in anything. And that's just not the case, right? Let's get Acts 4:32. We're going to, during these hard times that we talked about in a war scenario, how will we get provisions? How will we get water? How will we get food? How will we, if it goes back to a bartering system or a trade system, how will we survive? Let's answer that question. Con.
The book of Acts chapter 4 verse 32. And the multitude of them that believed were of one heart and of one soul. Neither said any of them that aught of the things which he possessed was his own, but they all had things common.
What verse is that?
That was 32.
I'm sorry, Acts 4:32 to keep reading.
Verse 33. And with great power gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of the Lord Jesus.
Wait, hold on 1 second. You can stop. You can go back. Start at verse 32 for me.
The book of Acts chapter 4 verse 32.
And
the multitude of them that believed were of one heart and of one soul. Neither said any of them that aught of the things which he possessed was his own.
Okay, that's verse. So let me break that down. Everybody had everything in common, basically. Everybody came together. Everybody shared what they had, and everybody took care of one another. We had everything in common. Let me make sure I got the right precept. Okay. I don't did. Keep reading. Let me hear that. Because I think I do.
But they had all things common.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 33. With great power gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of the Lord Jesus. And great grace was upon them all. Verse 34.
Mm-hmm.
Neither was there any among them that lacked.
Okay, that's what I want. Keep going.
For as many as were possessors of lands or houses sold them.
They did what?
Sold them.
Oh, I don't know if y'all ready for that. I don't know if y'all ready for that type of brotherhood. What did Christ say to the rich man? How do I get into the kingdom of heaven? He said, sell everything you have and give it to the poor. Keon Henderson.
Right.
That's what Christ said to do. Sell everything you have and give it to the poor. The rich man walked away sorrowful. He couldn't do it. He was hurt to the core. He said, I gotta give away I gotta sell my Lamborghini. I gotta sell my house and take the money and then give it to the poor to get into the kingdom of heaven. I can't do it. That's the mind of a Christian right there. That rich man that came to Christ saying, what I done did everything. What else do I have to do? And he couldn't do that last thing. That is a Christian pastor for you. A Christian pastor that will turn on you, ask you for $2,100, then say, don't give the poor no money. It's not helping you, it's helping them. You're not, and then we just read what the Lord said, when you give to the poor, you give to him.
Right.
Keep reading.
Verse 34. Neither was there any among them that lacked.
Mm-hmm.
For as many as were possessors of lands or houses sold them, and brought the prices of the things that were sold, and laid them down at the apostles' feet.
They took what they had, they sold it, their homes, their land, and then brought that and put it at the apostles' feet. You know what that means? Pay your tithes. Pay your priest funds. Pay an offering to the real priest of God, to the real brothers that are really doing it and really affecting and helping poor people. The people that Christian pastors don't want to help.
Right.
We're actually helping the people who God said to help. You understand? Commander Junior Hanna ain't driving a damn Rolls Royce and flying in a private jet and like that. Where do you see Christ had the finer things in life on his ministry? What was Christ in a golden chariot? And he could have had a golden chariot. He could have had anything if he asked the Father. He could have had anything he wanted. But Christ, he wasn't in a golden chariot. He wasn't, blinged out with 1,000,000 chains. He was like unto his brethren. He was like unto his people. And I should be you look at brothers like we regular black men. We're regular Hispanic men. We're regular Hispanic women, black women, Native Indian men and women. We're regular. We're just like you. You understand? The only difference is that we started to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. We are no better than you. But we are regular people just like you. You understand? And your pastor, I don't know why you look at your pastor like he's some damn God and you give him everything and he does nothing for you. And when your grandma passed away, you're going to say, well, sister, we're looking at the records and I seen that you stopped tithing 2 months ago. I don't think we can help with the funeral expenses. But your grandma been in that damn church for 40 years. You understand? Where we at? Let's hear it.
And laid them down at the apostles' feet.
Uh-huh.
And distribution was made unto every man according as he needed.
And then they redistributed it out to everyone else according to need. So they laid it at the apostles' feet, and the apostles gave it all out according to who needed what, who had what, who didn't have what. Go ahead.
And Joseph, who by the apostles,
you could drop that. You could drop it. The point is that that's how we would survive. and an impending war. That is a form of public assistance, of welfare that comes from us, not from our oppressor, but comes from us, where we put our things together and redisperse them out so that everybody is not lacking anything. Yeah, you don't got a fly crib and a fly house. You don't got a pocket full of money, but you got what you need though. You're not lacking anything. That's how we will survive World War III. That's how we will survive. While everybody and everything is crumbling around us, the brotherhood and the love that we have, which comes from Christ, will sustain us in a time like that. You understand? That's how we will survive. But will you survive, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that reject this truth? Will you make it? The ball is not in your corner. I'm trying to tell you. The ball is not in your corner. You understand? I think you better get into these classes. I think you better go in your room, get on your knees and pray for understanding and wisdom, and ask the Lord to show you what the truth is. Ask the Lord to show you what the truth is. Don't take my word don't take my word. Don't take anybody's word. Don't take Commander General Yohana's word. Don't take Captain Tazaria's word. Don't take Captain Gaddafi. Listen, don't take nobody's word for it when it comes to this truth. Go and prove that we're wrong. Go and prove it to yourself. Go and pray about it. Go and ask the Lord to show you what is the truth. Lord, does Keon Henderson have the truth? Or do those brothers that dress kind of crazy, but I'm feeling what they say about the Bible, do they have the truth? Go do it. Go do it. You understand? Let me get let me see. Let's get did we read Exodus 15? Let's get Exodus 15 and 22. Let's get that. This is another thing. Is how we're going to get through those hard times. That's how we're going to get through. That's how we're going to get our provisions. That's how we're going to get our food, clothing, and shelter, by coming together, bringing all our resources together, which is something that's very hard for Black people because we all want to be chiefs. What you doing with that? What you gonna do with that? Oh, yeah, because my auntie gave me that gold necklace. How much you get from it? Oh, who you giving it to? Who? We so like we don't think like a community. We don't think like a unit. We think as individualites instead of Israelites. Go ahead.
The book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 22. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. Verse 23.
Dang, 3 days with no water. Go ahead.
And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of waters of Marah, for they were bitter.
They couldn't drink of this water because this water was bitter. Go ahead.
Therefore, the name of it was called Marah. So the people murmured against Moses, saying, "What shall we drink?" And he cried unto the Lord.
So the people murmured against Moses like, they always did. They would murmur against Moses. It's been 3 days. We ain't had nothing to drink. And it's like, nigga, you done, like, come on. You supposed to be a leader. Like, come on, Moses. Like, we don't got nothing to drink. We're about to die out here. And it's because of you. And Moses did what he always did. He turned to the Lord and he prayed. Go ahead.
Verse 25. He cried unto the Lord. The Lord showed him a tree, that which he had cast into the waters. The waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance. And there.
Well, hold it right there. So go back to the tree.
And the Lord showed him a tree.
So the Lord showed him that tree. Go ahead.
Which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet.
So now the water was drinkable. The Lord showed Moses a tree after he prayed and cried to the Lord. He got this tree. He put it in the waters. The waters became drinkable. They became sweet. They were no longer bitter. But here's the lesson in that. Go ahead.
There he made for them a statute and an ordinance.
And
there he proved them and said,
The Lord's, he proved them, he tested them, and he said, go ahead.
if thou wilt diligently hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
Mm-hmm.
and wilt do that which is right in his sight,
Uh-huh.
and will give ear to his commandments,
Mm-hmm.
and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee.
He's the Lord that healeth thee.
Right.
It's so much in that. But following those laws, statutes, and commandments is how we would survive in an imminent destruction in World War III, in a war scenario, a war-torn city, a city where you don't have electricity, a city where you don't have clean running water. Josephus said that during the plagues, when the plague of the blood, where the water turned to blood, during that time, the Egyptians could not drink the water, and it stunk because it turned to blood. But the Israelites were able to drink the water. These are the things that the Lord our God would do for us in a time like that, with one condition, that we do what he says. That's the only condition. Could you imagine being thirsty for 3 days and walking up to a puddle of water that is brown and not being able to drink it? And the Lord asks you to just throw a branch in it and then it becomes drinkable? That's the type of God that we serve. That's the power of our Lord. But we can only get that power if we do what he says. And if you have any questions of how you will survive, and you're packing up all of your supplies, you're getting World War III ready, because it's a lot of people like that have that end time scenario where you're packing your beans and your rice and your canned goods, and you done dug a bunker underground, and you're doing everything you can do. But guess what? The war, a missile hits, it busts a couple of pipes, and your whole home gets flooded. Everything you stack, like, there's so many scenarios that can happen for those people that think that they are actually prepared. You're not prepared if you don't know the God of Israel. You're not prepared. I promise you this. Read that last part one more time. It's something else I want to bring out. I can't remember right now. Fresh my memory.
Verse 26, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon you.
The Lord said, I won't put none of these things on you, these diseases, these pestilences. I won't put them on you like I did the Egyptians, like I did the Americans. Keep going.
Which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. And they came to Elim.
You can stop. For I am the Lord that healeth thee. The Lord is the one that's going to heal you. He is the one that is going to fix us. He's the one that is going to put us in our proper place, back in the land of Israel, back on top of all the nations. You understand? It is the Lord. And there's one condition. We just got to do what he says. Right. But that's how we will survive. Number one, that should have been number one, that precept, is doing what the Lord says. Number two is brotherhood, coming together, everybody sharing their resources and redistributing our resources so that no one lacks, because we're one body. You understand? That's how we would get our provisions in those type of times. And of course, when it comes to the roles of black men and black women, of course, those are going to change. That is definitely going to change, because right now we live up under a society that props a woman up over a man. Not only that, a society that pushes LGBTQ roles on our community. Well, in the war, we will see who the men are, because the men are going to have to work. They're going to have to build. They're going to have to protect. And we'll see that these fake roles that America has made, those roles will disappear. You understand? Give me Isaiah 3:12. Isaiah 3 and 12. We got about 2 or 3 more precepts.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them.
He said, as for my people, children are their oppressors. Your oppressor is the person you put your trust in. And the person you put your trust in is a person that says it is okay for children to choose what sexuality they are or what gender they are. Your oppressor says a lot of things that are childlike, and he rules over you. He's like a child. Read it from the top again.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
As for my people, children are their oppressors, and
Uh-huh.
women rule over them.
And women rule over them. This is the Lord saying this. Children are our oppressors, and women rule over them. Because your oppressor is like a child. He has put given your women the power to rule over you, and given her discretion. And you know, it's that whole thing is even in the Christian church where women rule the church, or supposedly the people of God, what they want to do and what they want to install, and how they think the song should be played, and how they, you know, think that the building should be decorated. That's the same as when it comes to the household of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It is ruled like that because your oppressor is like a child. If you could give me Isaiah 13 and 12, you see the whole world looks at Black and Hispanic men as though you are nothing. You are, you know, disposable. You have served your time, you have did your slavery, and now they don't need you anymore. They don't need you to be masculine anymore. They need you to be effeminate, and they need you to shut your mouth about the horrors and the things that you see in this society every day. But this, you got to remember one thing. The Lord, he always wanted you to be strong. He always wanted you to be manly. He always wanted you to be masculine. You understand? Give me that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
The Lord said that man that you think is not nothing, he's going to make him more precious than fine gold. You understand? He's going to, it's like digging in the dirt and finding a diamond that is covered in mud. And this whole time you thought it was just a rock. You thought it wasn't, it was worthless. And he's going to do what? Read it from the top again.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
I'm going to make a man more precious than fine gold. Go ahead.
Even a man than the gold wedge of Ophir.
So that's an expensive gold wedge. He's going to make him finer than precious gold. And I know it's kind of hard for you to understand that, but if a impending war comes, you're going to see how precious Black and Hispanic men are. You're going to see how lucky, or how should I say, blessed you are to have them on your side, because these are the men that the Lord set up. These are the men that the Lord loves, that he made in his own image. You know, I say it all the time. When you look at Black and Hispanic people in general, you are looking at an ancient people. When you look in our faces, you are looking at a people that walked with Isaac, that walked with Moses, that walked with Ezekiel, that walked with Christ. That's who you're looking at when you look at Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You're not looking at some people that are just some made up people that came on slave ships and they mixed with everybody, and now they're Black Americans. They're Mexican Americans. Now they're who we are today. No, these people, we are an ancient people, and we are the people that God loves above all people on the face of the earth. Let's get give me Mark 3 and 27. You know what? I don't know if we even need that. We don't really actually need that one. We don't actually need that precept. So just a recap. So when it comes to world war, when it comes to a pending war, there are things that you have to be prepared for. Let me just pull up. You don't have to pull it. I'm gonna just pull it. Things you have to be prepared for, right? So these are the things that are going to be problematic. Your food and water, they're going to be rationed. It's going to be of poor quality, and a lot of times food and water is going to be unavailable. Electricity and food supplies, these are limited. These are going to be limited or rationed off. Your healthcare, hospitals, they're going to be destroyed or damaged. They're not going to be fully functional. There's not going to be any staff. They're not going to have all the supplies that they need to even heal or work with people. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, you know, elderly people, young people that might have different disabilities or diseases. These things are going to be compromised in war. And let's just say your education and your job. Oh yeah. Your future job and your education. Don't even worry about that in a time of war. Don't even worry about it, because it's something that is not even promised, because the world won't, your city, your town won't be, America will not be functioning properly. There will be no internet. There will be no social media. There'll be none of that. These are the things that people have to think about, brothers and sisters. You have to think about that, because do you really want to get caught in the fire? Do you really want to be that person smoking a blunt when a damn missile hits the corner? Do you want to be that person that doesn't know what the hell is going on? You don't want to be that person. Right. You don't want to be the person that is caught up in this. So I suggest that you do what I said. Go in your room, go pray, go ask the Most High for answers for what you need to do. What is the truth? Some of y'all don't even know what the hell the truth is. You smoke so much damn weed, you don't know if the truth is in the crystal or in a piece of bark. You don't know if you don't know if the truth is, you know, in a damn rock, or a burning sage, or the universe. But I'm telling you, we have the truth. You should go get the truth. Right. But before you do that, you should prove to yourself what the truth is. And the first way to prove that is to ask the Lord for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's the first thing you got to do. Got to do that. You know what I'm saying? But in a recap, as I'm recapping, we see that we will have to have our own provisions. How will we get our own provisions? Young man. I'm still like it. I bought brotherhood. Coming together and doing what? Lean. Young man, Jeremiah, how will we get our provisions? How will we get, in a time of war, how will we get food? How will we get water? How will we get shelter? How will we get the basic necessities that we'll need? Give me more than that. You've been up in here listening. Give me something else. One more thing. You got it? You got something? Get a brother a hand. Following those commandments, keeping the commandments. So that's how we're gonna get the things we need. We're gonna get the things we need by coming together. Everybody bringing all their resources together, and then dispersing it out so that everybody has, and nobody is lacking anything. It won't be like the Christian church where the big-headed Negro has everything and the poor people at the bottom. Like, it won't be like Keon Henderson, where the big nigga he got the, you know, he got a bag of food and, you know, jewelry and everything, and then other people don't have anything. We'll all have what we need. Nobody will lack anything. Lastly, like what we just read in Exodus, what was it, Exodus 15? What we just read in Exodus 15:22 is that the Lord is the one that is going to provide for us. But in order for us to get that provision, we have to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, like young man Jeremiah just said. So with that, that's the class. We're going to wrap it up, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday. All right. So shalom, Israel. The water to everybody that's been rocking with me tonight. You know what I'm saying? I hope everybody was edified and we got something. We got something to that we can utilize This is something to keep in mind. Also, this is something to share with other brothers and sisters. Stop this screen. But we up out of here, Israel. Shalom, Lord in Christ.
For the day that I'm going to have no water in the house and no food in the house. For the day where my life will be in danger because somebody will want to come in my house and take my life for the little things that I may have. That's what's coming next. The landscape and technology of today, it means that there is no more a thing called asymmetrical warfare. Today's war will be fought everywhere, no matter who you are, because of the ability for hackers and cyber attacks and things of that nature, and terrorism and the transport of light armored weapons around the world. So what's happening in the Middle East is definitely going to spill into America. In Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, it's prophesied that all nations will be drawn into this Middle East war eventually. I may die down for now, and it'll stir back up later, and it'll die down and stir back up, or the Lord could cut the time short and let it proliferate right now all the way until it turns into a nuclear war. But be rest assured, you just heard Turkey denounce Israel. We just heard Barbados went to the UN and denounced Israel. Other countries are going to eventually join in and denounce Israel. Troops are eventually going to have to be sent there based on Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, to bring them into this valley, and Joel, the 3rd chapter, to bring them into this valley of Jehoshaphat. So everybody will be drawn into this war. And for blacks and Latinos and Native Indians, it means that you thought you were living bad already. You're about to live a whole lot worse as this goes on. Your way of life is about to go from a first world country and slide in onto a second world country. And if you are not careful, or in time, it'll eventually slide into a third world country. This is the end of America. This is the end of the empire. And not just America, but all the empires around the world. For Christ to rule the world, the empires around the world have to fall. And the way the Lord is bringing them into this fall is drawing them into this Middle East conflict. He's drawing them into this conflict, and he's going to bring this war right on his land. And he's going to use this war to cleanse his land of every nation that has had a part in ruling his land. These nuclear weapons are going to, in fact, level the ground on this country so that it could be built all over again from scratch the right way, and Christ be given the most magnificent kingdom you have ever seen in your entire life or in any history on the face of this earth. That's the plan by God. Man, of course, he has his own agenda. They're all fighting each other. And what's going on as far as man's agenda is simply this, that as we get closer to the end, and as more nations gain power, they're sizing themselves up. China, Russia, and Iran are allies. Russia needs Iran for oil. Iran needs Russia for weapons. So they're joined together. America needs Israel to control the countries in the Middle East so that they can control their oil. Israel's their backup card so that they can control the Middle East oil as well. Make no mistake, this ain't about philosophies. This ain't about nothing that they say it's about. It's about one thing and one thing only: oil. Arabs are dying in the Middle East simply because if you dig down underneath their feet, you're going to find some black gold called oil. And because of it, the beast of the earth, this so-called white man and all his families, they want it. They want to eat it all. They want control of it all. And they will fight tooth and nail like any bully. They will fight tooth and nail to get it, to control it, and to keep the status quo on all sides. So what's happening now is America, Israel, and their allies in Europe have teamed up, and so has Russia, Syria, China, several of the African countries. All of this can be found in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. And they'll now unify on both sides of the table, and they will build up arms, and they're building new weapons. They said Russia just came out with a new weapon called a glide bomb, some low-tech, inexpensive bomb that could blow up tanks. And so now they're sliding these weapons in and killing people with these weapons. Others are creating new weapons. Other smaller countries are creating new ways to hack and break in. Recently, in the last couple of days, they broke into the phone systems in the United States, not the cell phones, but the regular network phones. They broke into those phones. They're going to break into other things in all these countries. Every country has a cyber warfare team now. It's part of their military. Every one of them have it. They have a building with 100, 200 people in it. Everybody's got a computer desk. They're online all around the clock, and they're all attacking each other, stealing secrets, stealing weapons, destroying infrastructure. That's what's going on. And it's going to escalate on and on until it gets to the point of a nuclear weapon. A great sign to look for is how hard their hearts are. Remember when God went to destroy Egypt, he said, I will harden Pharaoh's heart. Pharaoh resisted the Lord and resisted what the prophet said, Moses said. And as a result of it, he destroyed his entire country. As you see Netanyahu become more defiant, as you see the Arab world become more defiant, if you see America become more defiant, know that these are signs that these countries are going to be destroyed. Here's the next, real quick, here's the next sign that we're looking for. We're looking for to see the invasion of Saudi Arabia. Be prepared. That one is coming too. And once they retaliate and bomb Iran, then Saudi Arabia will come into play as whether or not they will go in there and invade Saudi Arabia. It is a biblical prophecy. It's going to happen. And a little more of this, and they will shut down the Straits of Hormuz. If they close the Straits of Hormuz totally, that means that almost no oil will be leaving up out of there. And brother, the world is going to change overnight because these militaries at war are not going to give us gas for our cars when they need jet fuel to get all the way across the world to fight their enemies. So it was going to be a very different landscape very soon. And and nobody should feel bad. This is not as a downer. This is a blessing in that the Lord said, when you see these things, know that the time is near. It's actually a beautiful thing that this is happening because this means Jesus Christ's kingdom, Yahushua in the Hebrew, is on its way. And for those that truly serve him, this is what we look for, to know that his kingdom will come and we'll live in a perfect kingdom rather than live in this kingdom that has kept us enslaved for 400 years. Salafi.
Well, well said, General. Well said and explained. That's what I wanted from my viewers to hear and to get the breakdown. Also, we talked about it earlier. All the people that, have no faith in the Bible, they believe different ideologies. What about these prophecies that are coming to pass right before everyone's eyes? Well, I guess the Bible was real because all of these prophecies that are happening in the world, these things have been foretold for thousands of years, and they're actually happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like this is the greatest time to be living in and to see these things unfold and to be able to read about them from records of thousands of years ago.